Hi, this is Yvonne Bunn with Home Educators Association of Virginia. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the certified tutor provision for homeschoolers. There are 4 ways that parents must comply with the compulsory attendance laws. And those 4 ways are explained very clearly in the law. And I'm going to read that to you to begin with so that you'll understand how the certified tutor provision fits in with homeschooling. In 22.1-254, the law says that every parent, every guardian, or other person in the Commonwealth having control or charge of a child shall send such a child to 1. A public school, or to a private, denominational, or parochial school, or have a child taught by a tutor or teacher of qualifications prescribed by the Board of Education and approved by the division superintendent, or provide for home instruction of such child as described in 22.1-254.1, which is the homeschool regulations. So there are 4 different ways that a parent or a person who's a guardian or in control of a child must comply in order to educate that child. Every child has to be in school, and this is the compulsory attendance law. So you can either send the child to public school, to a private school, have the child taught by a tutor or a teacher who has the proper qualifications according to the Virginia School Board, or you can homeschool that child. So today we're going to be talking about the certified tutor provision because sometimes this can be very confusing, not only for parents, but also for the superintendent who may not be familiar with the certified tutor provision. So in cases like that, we want to share the law with the superintendent or his staff to make sure that they understand the homeschool statute. So knowing that there are 4 ways to comply, and that one of those ways is to have your child taught by a certified tutor, we're going to be talking about that certified tutor statute. So if you're a certified tutor or teacher, that means that you could teach in public school, that you could go and get a job. You have the credentials, you have the education, and you can teach in the public school. So you're a certified teacher or a certified tutor. So in that situation, if that's who you are, in that situation, there are 2 ways that you can homeschool children, the children, so as a certified teacher. And the first way is to comply with the certified tutor statute that I just read to you, which talks about that as the 3rd way that a child can be taught, or you can comply with the homeschool statute under 22.1-254.1. There are 2 different places in the law. So each place has certain regulations and rules. And we're going to be talking first about the certified tutor statute, not the homeschool law. We're going to be talking about the statute that I just read to you completely. So what are the qualifications in order to comply and be a certified tutor and teach children? First of all, the law says that it has to be approved or prescribed by the Board of Education. And the Board of Education in the Virginia statute means the Virginia Board of Education because the entire Code of Virginia relates to the laws in the state of Virginia. So we're talking about a Virginia state certified teacher. And your certification has to be current. It has to be up to date so that you could get a job in the school system if you prefer to do that. Secondly, the certified teacher can be a parent or a non-parent. In other words, you could teach your own child as a certified tutor, or you could teach someone else's child as a certified tutor. And so the tutor can teach either their own or someone else's. In fact, this is one of the few ways I'll say, that a person can teach someone else's child. And then Instruction can take place inside the home or outside the home. There are no restrictions as to where instruction needs to take place. But because none of the homeschool requirements are in this section of the law, the certified tutor does not have to provide an end-of-the-year assessment for the child that they're teaching, whether it's their child or someone else's, and neither do they have to comply by notifying the division superintendent yearly, on a yearly basis, like you do under the homeschool statute. So, just to review that, you need to be a Virginia certified teacher. You can teach your child or someone else's child as a Virginia certified teacher. Instruction can take place in your home or outside of your home in another location. End of the year assessment is not required, and yearly notification is not required. So all those things are a little bit different. So let's talk about now what you have to do in order to notify the superintendent and to move forward with being a certified teacher and homeschooling a child. Typically, you would write a letter to the division superintendent or the designated person in your city or county. In that letter, you would want to make clear reference, clear documentation to this statute that I just read, which is 22.1-254A. This is the compulsory attendance statute. This is the statute that I just read to you, and the one that you want to notate in your letter that you are complying with this statute of the Virginia Code. And then you also want to include documentation of your teacher's certification. So photocopy your documentation, your letter, your certificate, include it with your letter, and indicate who you will be teaching. And then you would send that, and I would suggest you would send it certified return receipt mail to the division superintendent's office, to the appropriate person there. We have these people listed on the website, HEAV.org, so you can find out who the person is that you need to send that to. Or you can call or look online and find that under your city directory or their website online. So you want to do that. You would simply send that to them with your reference to the appropriate statute, a copy of your teacher certification, who you'll be teaching, and that's all you need to do. And because you don't have to do this yearly, the next time that you would do this would be after your teacher certification has expired. They usually last about 5 years. So after your certification has expired and you are recertified, then you would send another letter and indicate what you'll be doing and that you will be homeschooling or teaching. You don't even have to use the word homeschooling. You'll just simply be teaching under 22.1-254A and include your teacher certification. So it's not done yearly, and it's something that is not hard to comply with. However, because we may have a new superintendent, you may have someone that's new in administration in your school division, and they may be accustomed to only seeing a notice of intent. And so that may confuse them when they see a certified tutor who is teaching under the certified tutor statute. And so it may require some explanation. You may need to talk to them on the phone, make sure that they're understanding that you are not complying with the homeschool law. You have not filed a notice of intent. Do not file a notice of intent if you're homeschooling under the certified tutor statute. And some people have asked, well, why would you homeschool under the homeschool statute instead of the certified tutor statute? In most cases, people that comply with the second option of the homeschool statute and file a notice of intent simply don't know about the certified tutor statute. The second way you can homeschool is by filing that notice of intent, choosing the second option that says that you're a certified tutor or teacher. And again, if you chose that and you decided to file that notice of intent, you put a copy of your notice of your certification with the notice of intent, send it in. And the difference is that you'll have to do the notification every year, and you'll have to supply some type of evaluation or testing results at the end of the year. That's the difference. So you can do it either way you'd like. It's up to you. But the certified tutor statute, basically does not require yearly notification or end-of-the-year testing or evaluation. So that's the difference in those two. And the reason we know that you can teach either your child or someone else's child is because this was decided in a court case. In the late 80s, around 1988 or so, there was a court case, Bedford County versus the Shiflets. And then later in 1993, Prince William County versus the Berlins. And in both of these court cases, there were moms who were certified teachers. They had been teaching in the public school system and decided to homeschool. In both these situations, they wrote a letter and the division superintendent responded and said, you can teach someone else's child, but because there's a homeschool law, you have to comply with the homeschool statute and file a notice of intent rather than using the certified tutor statute because we have a homeschool law now. This doesn't apply to parents who want to teach their own children. And so in both of these court cases, they went to court and the court decided against the school system and the school superintendent and declared that a parent can teach either their own child or they can teach someone else's child under the certified tutor provision. So that's how this law was clarified. And there's actually a memo that came out in 1994, Superintendent's Memo 121, that describes this process and makes reference to the court cases. And we have this on the HEAV website. If you'd like to make reference to this, if a question comes up, this is something that would be good to pass on to the division superintendent so he can be sure that he is complying with the law himself by allowing you to do this. A related question that comes up with this that I think is relevant to what we're talking about tonight, and that is whether or not it's legal to homeschool someone else's child. And the law allows this under certain circumstances. It actually refers to two other people that can homeschool your child. And one of them is a Virginia certified teacher, known as a tutor under the certified tutor provision that we've just talked about. And the other would be a person who is a guardian or another person having control or charge of a child. And in that situation, these are other people that can teach your child. If you're the guardian of a child, the legal guardian, not just someone who has not been through the court system and gained legal guardianship. Because a child lives with you, that doesn't mean necessarily that you are their legal guardian. So make sure that you are actually the legal guardian of a child or a person having control or charge of a child. And in that case, that's a little more vague. You might want to get legal counsel regarding that particular thing. But that goes a little deeper into this is the question of whether or not a grandparent can teach a child. And this comes up under different circumstances with grandparents. So let's talk about that a little bit, because under the right circumstances, of course, a grandparent can teach a child. I would suggest in a typical situation, if a parent cannot teach their child full-time or do most of the teaching, that the best thing to do would be to have the parent file a notice of intent and comply with the homeschool law under one of the four options that are available to the parent. And they would also send a description of curriculum to the superintendent along with that notice of intent, so that the parent is filing the paperwork and is responsible to the superintendent for also turning in the end of the year testing or evaluation. But a parent who homeschools can also delegate homeschooling responsibilities, teaching responsibilities to other people. It can be a co-op, or it could be a private school, it could be a community college through dual enrollment, or it could be a friend or a grandparent. If they want to delegate some of that teaching to another person, then they can do that as long as the parent has filed the notice of intent and complied with the law in that way. Also, if a grandparent is a legal guardian, they can certainly homeschool under the law, as we've already mentioned. And if a grandparent is a Virginia certified teacher, of course, they can homeschool in the same way. So all of those things will allow a parent or a grandparent to homeschool their child. Another question that often comes to us regarding this is if most certified teachers are certified in certain areas. Could be K through 6, or it could be 8 through 12 or high school level. Whatever level we're working at with the homeschool child, you can be certified to teach just at the high school level or just at elementary level. That has nothing to do with homeschooling. If you're a certified teacher or tutor and you're homeschooling your child or someone else's child, those are laws and regulations and policies that actually have to do with public schools, but they do not affect homeschoolers. So if you are certified to teach in elementary, you can certainly teach high school level if you want to do that. So that doesn't really have anything to do with that. So if there are any other questions regarding certified tutor statute, please let me know and type them in on Facebook, and we'll be looking at those. You can also call the HEAV office at 804-278-9200, and we'll be glad to answer any questions concerning that. The thing to remember is there are 2 ways that you can comply with the certified tutor statute. One of them would be through the certified tutor statute 22.1-254A, or you can file a notice of intent. The difference is under the notice of intent, you're required to file yearly, and you're also required to turn in standardized achievement tests at the end of the year. So be sure to send us your questions, and let me see if there are any questions that are here that I can answer right now. And if not, then I would love for you to give us a call, or go ahead and just type in your questions on Facebook, and I'll be sure to answer them. Thank you so much.